All right, of course I got it. Hello. Sean J. Brady on Vivino with my man, J-Time B. Gunter out in California. He's a sommelier. I'm a regular wine guy. And we're doing some fun stuff right in time for the holidays. Just in time, if you will. What is it? Oh, you saw the title. It drew you in. You want to know what we're tasting? And it's not just tasting regular wine, it's tasting bubbly. That's right. I got a couple of Cremant, and Jay has got a Cremant and a Champagne, all from France today. Jay, my man in California, how you doing, sir?
As always, I get to hang out with you and drink wine, so I am great. And I've been looking forward to this episode. We've been talking about bubbles for a long time, and this is like I love bubbles, whether it's standard bubbles from anywhere in the world, or you're looking at Cremants from France, or Champagne, or Franciacortas, Cava. I love bubbles, and so this is going to be a fun episode for me. If I get a little giggly, just know that I'm in my happy place and allow me that. So today, this is actually not a Cremant, but this is out of Loire Valley. And we're going to be talking about this going forward. But I want to let you guys know why we're doing this episode. The holidays are here, and everybody's looking for great gifts to give, friends at a party or even like a boss or anybody like that. And bubbles is always a good thing to look for, but we wanted to give you guys value. So we have pretty value driven bubbles here that are outstanding wine, but we wanted to give you some options as far as where to get some wine for as a gift. So that's what this whole episode is about: value bubbles for gifts and gift ideas. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with this, and I think I'm not starting this one off. I'm not leading this off today. It's my boy Sean over there is gonna lead off with his first wine, and we're gonna do the same thing we did last time, where I'm gonna follow up behind him. He's gonna follow up behind me with his second wine. I'm gonna do my second wine. And, we're just going to bounce off each other and have some fun with this episode. So let's get right into it. Sean, what is your first wine, my brother? How you doing over there, too, by the way?
Oh, man. So thanks for asking. We talked about all the tornadoes and things that were happening in the Midwest. And, our good thoughts and spirits go out to everyone seriously affected for sure. Fortunately, I don't know anyone directly impacted, even though I have a lot of friends who are actually in Kentucky right now with a lot of family in Kentucky. Fortunately, everyone that they know and I've met are all okay. So that being said, I'm doing fantastic. Now, as I mentioned in some other posts, champagne and sparkling are not necessarily my forte. I've had it a few times. I've had a few bottles over the years, usually at New Year's Eve, sometimes with plastic corks, sometimes with real corks. And it's been a whole bunch of fun in between. But I wanted to get something that was from France. And I knew this was going to be a little problem at some of the places because some people just, it's like, oh, yeah, this is a champagne. I'm like, well, it's not an actual champagne. And I know for those that are, much more on the champagne in the world of champagnes, and where I am not, that some people were calling this a champagne. I'm like, well, it's from France, but it's not a champagne per se. But it is from, this one was, Blanquette de Lemur. So can you see that?
Yeah,
so,
I see.
There you go. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so this should be found about everywhere. I have seen this bottle from Costco to our local, a few of our local vendors, to I think they even had it at Target. So it's really all over the place. And the price point a little bit ranges, but everything I found is under $15, so a lot more affordable. I did pour this, and on the nose. Now, Jay, I just don't know. Do you just do it the same way we just do a regular wine?
Put your nose in that wine. I know bubbles may get into your nostrils a little bit. Shake it off. Put your nose right back in there and smell it.
Back in the day when I was doing more beer stuff, I was basically snorting beer bubbles. And I don't want to do that with sparkling wine bubbles.
Make your eyes water.
I know. Oh, and then I did learn something new. So this, and correct me if I'm wrong. So I learned a little bit about the mousse of a wine, or of the sparkling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much bubbles that is, but it seems like there is very few bubbles. they dissipated rather quickly, and that's okay. But on the nose,
yeah, it doesn't affect the quality of the wine. Sometimes some have really fine bubbles, some have a little bit rounder, like more robust bubbles. It really, I mean, the mousse and the foam doesn't determine like the quality of a wine, especially with some of those old like champagnes.
sure.
It's amazing champagne, you know.
All right. So on the nose, it just seems like a nice. I specifically asked for and requested things that weren't too sweet, so I didn't want like a prosecco type of thing or some of the other sweet ones. But these are brutes. But I'm like, well, is this a dry brut, a drier side brut? And usually I like very dry. But this is so far on the nose. It's like there's not overabundance of fruit. Like, oh my gosh, like some of those sugary ones where it's just like, whoa, this is sugar on the nose. This is just there's subtle pear, like a little bit hint of melon, but more towards the pear side of the world.
Sounds amazing. I like pear.
And we should talk about these glasses. I'm using Pinot glasses instead of champagne flutes because they're just champagne flutes are harder to clean, man.
They are, and they're made for drinking, not for tasting. Like if you're tasting a champagne, you want to get your nose in there and you want to swirl a little bit. You can't really do that with like a champagne flute. They look nice, they're amazing, they're sexy, but you know, we're tasting wine here. We're gonna drink it later, of course, but we're tasting right now.
We're just tasting right now, and you know, I get a little bit of the terroir, if you will, a little bit of dry, the dry vines, if you will, or like wherever it's grown. I can't say I've been there before, but just a nice mellow pear, if you will. That that's the biggest fruit that stands out for me right now. I'm going to give this a go.
So nothing's really jumping out of the nose. It's all kind of like fixed in. It's not over the top at all.
Yeah, a little earthy, a little bit of that pear still comes through. So not like a sweet pear, but just more. It's like, oh yeah, this is just a just right pear, like you'd like to have in a tart before you add sugar and things like that to it. So just a really nice, dry. Surprisingly, I wasn't sure what I was getting for the price point. I was a little worried, but this is. If you're not an everyday sparkling drinker, I think you'd actually enjoy popping a cork of this. I mean, it's fun to pop the cork. I did it on the Instagram, and it's really fun to do that, right? A little celebratory, but in the same breath, there's the connoisseurs of finer things, and this one might be for what was that one show? I forget that. This one's for spraying, and this one's for enjoying. So. I would hate to see anybody just spray and waste anything, but when you can taste it. But it's this is just really nice and dry. It's again, I was looking for something that wasn't sweet. I prefer drier whites to begin with, and this hit the mark. $13. Very happy.
Good little bubbles to bring to your friend and like put them on some French bubbles, and that's not champagne, still top tier stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I'd like to get. I have some cheeses in the background and some nuts, and I'm like, what, this would be perfect for that. I wouldn't even add. You could add some sliced pear or melon, possibly even apple, but like a green apple, right? That might be really fun with this. But you don't even need anything. It's just a nice little enjoyable sparkling cremant, if you will.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think for mine. We're staying in France, guys. I feel like this is an all French or sparkling wine show. Sorry, I almost got cava, but I saw this wine and I had to grab it. I was like, yo, this is out of Loire. Loire is one of my favorite areas for wine, period. They just make outstanding, whether it's a Cremant de Loire, like Sean has, that he's going to be tasting after this, or a regular just like sparkling wine out of Loire Valley. I love their wines there. And the one we're dealing with today is out of Loire, out of Saumur, and this is the Clair de Lune de Bussy Brut. So this is totally dry. Put that right there so y'all can see it. Totally dry, and this is interesting because it's like normally sparkling wine, a lot of people are doing it in a way where it is not to be complicated. So it's just fun, lively bubbles. It doesn't have like complex fruit or earth or anything like that. It's just really good fruit, like to the point, and nice bubbles and refreshing. This one is a little bit more of a serious bottle of sparkling wine out of Loire, even though it's not a Cremant. This is actually doing 12 months in off the lees, as far as the way it is being produced, which is normally not something that happens. Normally they do first fermentation in the barrel, and then they go right to the bottle, and they don't really do any lees aging. This one is aged on the lees for 12 months. This is a really, really interesting wine. And I read a lot about it. So I was like, oh, you know what? And I tasted it before too. So I was like, okay, I have to go over this on the show. So let's get right into it. This is mainly Chenin Blanc. It has some other varietals in there. I believe there's some Chardonnay in here too, and maybe a little Pinot Noir. But for the most part, it is Chenin Blanc. So on the nose. So immediately I get pear, I get like a sliced green apple. I get a little bit of like this candied lime, like candied lime. I don't know how else to put it, but it's a sweetness to lime, but it's not, it's authentically lime, but it is not like the citrus side of it. It's more on like the fruity, sweet side of lime. There's a little bit of like a wet hay thing going on here too. If you've been on a farm during a rainy day, it has a little bit of that going on here too. There's a bit of a white underripe peach going on here too. A little bit of banana and also a little bit of pineapple. Let's go ahead and taste it and see if everything's translating. Mm-hmm. So this is good money. This is where this wine like kind of shines above a lot of like just standard sparkling wines. Is the texture of it. This has great texture. This has like a very long finish. It has this nice little minerality kick on the finish. As far as the fruit goes, you lean more towards the apple, and it's not even like green apple anymore. It's more Granny Smith on the palate that goes to the mid palate. You have this nice medium plus acid going on here. My mouth is watering like crazy. This is a wonderful wine. This is delicious. And all I'm thinking about is triple cream cheese, man. Like I want some triple cream cheese. I don't even need crackers. I just want to dig my little fork in some triple cream cheese, put it in my mouth, and then drink some of this right after it, so it breaks it up, but like still like kind of elevates the cheese a little bit. This is an outstanding wine. I highly recommend this wine. I found this at Total Wines for $14. And so it's kind of the mid-range, but it's really, really, it's worth every penny. I would actually pay a little bit more for this, to be honest with you, for this to be a standard bottle and not a Cremant. This is outstanding.
Now, what you're tasting there, so please correct my vernacular. So I called both of mine Cremant, but so unless it says Cremant, it's not a Cremant. Is exactly. That so? That's a little different. So this one doesn't say that. It just says Blanquette de Limoux.
Yeah, that. It's not a Cremant de Limoux, and I've had Cremant de Limoux. It would normally have to say it on the label.
Okay, so this is just a wine that they made sparkling.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times, though, like if you know, and this is a hard thing about France, because sometimes if you know, you know, and so if you know that these families always like because of where they're growing the grapes, it's a Cremant vineyard, then you kind of have to be like you have to give it to them, but they may not put it on the label. So it just really depends. There's some people that are like, it's the French. They're very, I'm gonna do what I want, type of way. Like so they don't. Sometimes they won't. They're like, they want to buck against the system, even though it's a Cremant. They won't tell people it's a Cremant. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how kind of their attitude sometimes.
So what's the difference between a Cremant and a not a Cremant, besides them putting it on the label?
It's, so it has to do with the grapes that are in the wine. Okay. And like, you have to have a certain percentage of a certain grape to call it a Cremant from a specific area. Also, it has to be your best fruit. And France is very big on monitoring all this stuff. Like they don't play around. Like if you try to fake throw some other things in there, they test everything. They're very strict about that kind of stuff. So it would have to be your top tier fruit, and it would have to come more than likely come from a vineyard that is considered a Cremant vineyard, and that goes back. That's history stuff. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that really clears it up for me. So for my friends who are watching this and more on the whiskey side of things, that's like having bottled in bond. That means you have to have certain degrees and processes that you first, if you're going to call it bourbon, then you have to have a certain mash bill with so much corn in it. And then if you're going to have a bottled in bond, you have to have a higher proof, at least 50% greater proof, and 100%, 100 proof or higher, and at least 4 years in the barrel. So here we're getting distinctions where I do not speak French. It's not even a second or third or fourth language in my world. I took about a half hour of it in high school, and then I switched to Spanish, and I didn't do well in Spanish. So this is basically a blanquette, which is, I'm guessing, just basically a white sparkling wine.
White sparkling wine. Yep.
White sparkling wine. Now, okay. So am I ready to go into my Cremant de Loire?
Go for it, my friend.
Cremant de Loire. All right. So now I did notice that, so this, because it is Cremant, they do say the ratios in of the grapes. And it's a very Chenin Blanc forward, which I like. I like that grape in the beginning, 70%. And then 15% Chardonnay and 15% Cab Franc as well. So all wonderful grapes that I certainly like. And, I don't know if you noticed this when I first poured it, Jay. I'm pouring a little too much in here, but just a little bit more. I'm guessing if I'm describing this correctly, a little bit more of the mousse, and it's coming up a little bit more. I do notice more bubbles through the glass, and that's been going on the whole time this has been open.
Very fine bubbles there.
Yeah, and just note you can't quite see the color against my gray shirt, but just looking down into the white, the color differentiation. Actually, there's not too much color differentiation. This one is a slight bit lighter, but let's get right under the nose because that's what's more important when we're tasting. I'm getting more melon off of this and pear.
Okay.
It's almost like a slight citrusy, not quite a citrus, but like what's that? Is it a quince paste? Like that's kind of melony.
Oh, I like that. A little quince paste going on. That's a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, because you get the melon and you get a slight bit of citrus, but not overpowering. Where you're like, oh yeah, this is I'm definitely noticing something like a, just there's very little citrus on the nose. I'm trying to think what I would pair with this now. It's like I'm not even eating anything, and I want to eat something with it. Now, I do notice on the palate, these bubbles are just that much finer. So it doesn't make a difference, like you said, in the flavor, but it's so much creamier than the first one. And like this, so that's where I think that the mousse comes from. It's like, wow, it's like, it makes my mouth happier.
I understand. A happy mouth, man, is very important when you're drinking wine.
Yeah, this is a lot different from, we went to some California sparkling places, and the differentiator is like it's almost like more of a soda sparkling, where this is a subtle, fine, smoother sparkling bubbles on my tongue and my palate.
I got you.
And that's really fun. And all those other descriptors are translating into the wine itself that came off the nose. So yeah, I would love to have some triple cream right now, a nice brie or something like that. And certainly even something on a I would want to have bread with this, even though me and gluten don't agree so well. But yeah, just a nice piece of French bread with some of that, awesome brie smeared on it, and just maybe some nuts on the side. But you don't even need those. Yeah, you could pair it with some quince paste, which isn't my favorite, but you know what? I think it would be really yummy with this.
I like that.
It's not readily found here. You can find it at Whole Foods once in a while. I did find this, by the way. That's where I got this one. I did find this at Whole Foods.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the Vino, so Sean J. Brady on the Vino,
Yes.
that's where I post all my stuff. I found this one at Whole Foods. And, on the Vino, it was saying it was like closer to $30. And they had a regular price, $17.99 right now. Depending on when you see this, they might have it for $2 off, like they do right now. So that's Midwest pricing. But, this is for under $20. I would not spend, the $10 or less you would on some other things. If you're only going to have a bottle or two of these a year, step up to this. And definitely, I'm really curious. I'm really curious about your first one you had, and I'm really curious about your second one because I'm learning more stuff with you, Jay. I'm just learning more stuff. I didn't know. I mean, it makes sense. Like there's this, like you see Reserva wines or reserve wines, but you were saying as a descriptor on your bottle of champagne that just kind of made my ears perk up. Please talk more about that.
All right, so we are talking champagne. I had to do a champagne, guys. I'm sorry. We were gonna stay with like the regular sparkling wines, but it's the holidays, and so we have to like celebrate. We got through this year, all right? Like this has been a rough one for a lot of people, so it's time to celebrate. We're almost at the finish line. Let's get to popping some real champagne. So today we're talking about the Marie de Moy champagne Premier Cru, and this is what Sean was talking about. So a lot of times when you see Premier Cru or Grand Cru on the label, that means this is top tier fruit. It's just one of those things where only certain vineyards get that distinction. Only certain areas in Champagne get that distinction. And so when you see it there, that means these have been going on for years, and these are top tier. This is top tier fruit. And so that's what I have here. We have Premier Cru at Epernay, France. And let me show you the label so you can see what's going on here. And I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do a little audible. I was going to open this prior to the show, but this is a little fun fact for people. I love popping bubbles, of course. Everybody loves to pop the wine, but I'm going to show you really quick the proper way to open up a bottle of champagne. Just really quickly, this is not going to be like the proper way, but this is like it's a safer way to do it. It's the way that if you're at like a restaurant, this is the way they normally do it. And so basically what they do is they cut around the lip right here. As you can see, the lip is right here. And sometimes there's a little clip, but I normally don't do that because sometimes those things malfunction. Just cut right around the lip, pull this off. You can throw your little wine key away. Now you don't need it. Make sure you always keep your finger on top of the cork, because you can fail. I've been to when I went to somm school, you could actually fail if you don't have your finger on the top and it pops out. You'll fail immediately right there. You won't be able to get your second level somm if you make it pop like that. And then you want to slowly turn the bottle till you start feeling a little give, and as much as you want, you put a little pressure on top, and you just get a little bit of a tss, and that's the proper way to open up a champagne. So just so you guys know, if you're ever going to take your somm test and you want to open up a bottle of champagne, that's the way to do it. Normally you put like a serviette over it, but we're not doing all that. I just wanted to show you the proper way, the safer way to do it. But again, it's celebration time. Pop that cork. Have some fun. I'm just saying. Anyway,
all right, Jay, now question while you're pouring that.
Yes,
that
sir.
Looks lovely. So I noticed two things. One, you left the little things on it, the wire thing to hold it down. So you pulled that off together.
Yeah.
You kept your thumb on it the whole time.
Yes. Because the problem is, a lot of times if you take that cage off, that wire cage,
it could pop.
Pressure will pop it, and you'll fail immediately. And it's also not safe because it's like a loaded weapon in your hand. These things shoot out. It could really take somebody's eye out or hurt somebody. So you always never point it towards anybody, always away, and you always keep your finger on the top of the cork as on top of the cage as you're untwisting.
So if you're going for your second level som, you got to know that. But if you're here from Missouri, we're used to blowing off firecrackers in our fingers. So, we're just going to pop the cork the way we want to.
I ain't mad at it, man. I used to go to my homeboy's, an old friend's beach house, and that was part of the festivities. Every time we got to the beach house, we always opened up a bottle of sparkling, and it was like, all right, we're about to pop
it. It go.
Pop it right in the middle of everybody. It was great. It was good times.
I love it.
But anyway, let's get into the champagne. I am looking forward to like breaking down this for you guys. On the nose. So I'm gonna tell you this. I have not even I've had this wine before. I have not read up on it to do this tasting. So I'm gonna see if I can blindly call this wine as far as what the grapes are in it. I cannot remember from the last time I tasted it what grapes are in here, but I'm gonna tell you off the nose. I'm gonna see if I can get it off the nose. All right. You can check me out on this and see if I'm wrong. And please leave in the comments. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It happens, right? I don't mind being wrong, but I want to see if my nose blinding skills are still up to par. So on the nose. So I immediately get this like kind of a little bit of like a butterscotch going on here. I get raw honey. I get pear. A little bit of like golden delicious apple. I get walnuts. And there's something like kind of earthy going on here too, like something like outside, like I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. This is very complex on the nose. On the nose, I'm just gonna see if I can call it off the nose. I do believe this is mostly Chardonnay here on this wine. I think this is mostly Chardonnay as a grape, and maybe a little bit of Pinot, but I think it's more Chardonnay on this one. I think this is. I mean, it doesn't even say whether it's a Blanc de Blanc or a Blanc de Noir, but I would. Let's taste it. Let me just make sure I'm on top of this. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, this is so good.
I'm looking it up for you right now, and I know what it is now.
I think it's a little bit more Pinot on the palate. I think it's Chardonnay, but I think there's some Pinot here, if not more. Mm. Man. All right, so I know I got to break this down. This is just hard. I'm drinking it. It's so good. Like, it's hard to break this wine down. Very fine bubbles on your palate. Very great mouthfeel. Precision cut with the fruit where it's placed on your palate. I'm getting a lot of more green apple and more golden delicious throughout the palate, kind of like waltzing throughout the palate from the beginning to the end. There is medium plus acid here. There's like this nice lingering finish of like kind of like a kiwi thing going on here, which is really cool, like underripe kiwi. This is beautiful. Oh my goodness. So I changed my guess. I think this is more I think it's more Pinot Noir or Pinot Meunier than Chardonnay. I think it's more on the red grape side. I think there is some Chardonnay here, but I think Pinot Meunier is in here. It may be all three. Pinot Meunier, a little bit Pinot Noir, and a little bit of Chardonnay here. But mostly I would say Pinot Noir and a little bit of Pinot Meunier. I love this wine. I highly recommend it. You guys have to get this wine. I'm telling you, if you're talking about gift giving for under 40, because if when you're looking for champagnes, you want something under $40. That's a value right there. This is $38. Go grab this bottle right now and give it to your boss. Like they'll thank you. You'll get a promotion. I'm telling you, you get a promotion. This is an amazing bottle of wine. Highly recommended. And Very, yeah. Again, cream cheese, like triple cream cheese. Maybe even like some oysters would go amazing with this. Some Blue Point oysters would go amazing with this. Yeah, highly recommend this. Get some champagne under $40. Go for this. This is amazing. Yeah, I can drink. I can smell this all day. To be honest with
That's awesome.
you. Yeah.
I'm looking on Vivino now, and all those grapes, you hit it spot on.
Oh, really?
It doesn't show the ratios in it, but
Mm-hmm.
it does say it has Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and I'm gonna. What was the other Pinot you said?
Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier. Yeah. So all three of those are in it, and taste characteristics: acidic, bold, of course, fizzy, um, and a lot of those. Yeah, I love the descriptors. Some of them in here. There's toasted bread, a little yeasty, or I think you said the walnuts, and I think those tend to be that's nice where you get those proteins come through without it being toasted. And I'm like going, oh yeah, I'm wondering about the nuts, that sensations that I was passing up on because they weren't the first layer on my nose, or on my palate. But way to go, Jay! You're just good at this stuff.
I know I got a little long-winded. I'm sorry, but this is just champagne. It's really good champagne.
That's and it's the only one we're having right now that is true champagne.
Yeah, for real.
But so thank you for helping everyone on all these fun distinctions. I'm certainly having a great time. I know Jenny in the background's having a good time. I know we're having a great time. So I think we just got to keep going and probably shorten up this video. But if you like what you see, please, please, please hit that bell, ring that bell, so to speak, and follow us because we're doing like stuff like this on a regular basis going into the new year. We're doing even more things as Jenny in the background will help us just improve our process, improve our content. And hey, we're failing forward with something we love and hope you enjoy it too, because it's certainly a great passion of ours. And we're just making a fun, great go of it all. So, Jay, anything else for you? You can find us, by the way, by subscribing here. You'll find all our information below. You'll see all the cool stuff that Jay's doing with his awesome publishing company. Yes, we like the books. And and certainly all the wine things that are just coming through, just exuding out of our egos. So it's just please share it with your friends.
Yes, please follow us. Like I feel like we love this stuff. We love talking about this jizz. We love talking about this wine stuff. And if you are even mildly interested in wine, just go on the journey with us. Definitely feel free to like our content, follow us, check out what we're doing outside of this. We got a lot of stuff going on outside of this, but on top of that, inside of this, we're doing a lot. And 2022 is going to be amazing for us. So we're looking forward to you guys following us and joining us on our journey of wine. And man, let's go. Let's get this stuff done. Let's let you guys have a better understanding and take some of these gift ideas, man. Like we had some fun with this, but we want people to appreciate this. So grab a bottle, definitely share with somebody, give it as a gift, and ask them for their feedback and see if we were right or not. And hit it and leave a comment about it. It is what it is. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, for real.
We love it. And as we always say, we may not see you here or in person, but we're always wait. See, now the bubbles are getting to my head. We may not see you in person, but we are always going to see you right here on social media.